This is the Itel S24, one of the latest phones in town. It looks so much like the Itel S23 in design, but the specs here are better, especially with the use of Samsung HMC's ISOCELL camera sensor to deliver brighter and more focused images. Recently, Itel has made some promising changes in most of their devices, like making their first ever 5G smartphone. Now, looking at the Itel S24, what can you expect? Let's find out. The S24 is based on Android 13, but built on MediaTek Helio G91 processor, one of the latest CPU from MediaTek. It also has a 90Hz 6.6 inches punch-hole display, a 108 megapixel main camera, and a 5000 mAh battery with 18 watts charging capacity. In the box, you will find the phone. Next is the same eject pin, followed by a transparent flexible bumper case. The last two accessories here are the 18 watts charger and the Type-C USB cable. The first major change on this device is the Helio G91 processor. The best 4G processor Itel had previously ever used is the Unisoc T616 processor. That's the processor on the Itel S23 Plus. When the P55 Plus was later released, I even thought that Itel would choose a processor from the Helio G lineup, but they ended up with the T606. For my opinion, the Helio G91 is good news. It means that Itel has managed to break that barrier that prevented them from using any processor from the Helio G lineup previously. At least, now we are hopeful that we will get to see more of Itel's phones with better processors in the future. But how good is this processor? The Helio G91. It is a 12nm processor ranked at the same level as the Helio G88 and G85. In fact, they are called siblings. The G91 is like an upgrade to the other two processors because it is designed to handle up to 108 megapixel camera sensors. That's the major difference. The Helio G91 is also called 4G only processor, so I'm not sure that it supports 2G and 3G networks, but I don't think that's a bad news anyways. The processor supports a maximum display refresh rate of 90Hz and 1080 pixel display resolution. It can also support a maximum memory size of 8GB and eMMC 5.1 storage type. Since this is a new processor, you should be concerned if it is worth your consideration, right? From my experience so far, the Itel S24's processor has been flawless, responding to every single command right on time. But it's still a new processor and still too early to rate the performance, so I will keep it on a watch list and come back to it much later. The second major change is the camera. It has a 108 megapixel main camera sensor paired with an 8 megapixel selfie sensor. What made this camera different from others is not the 108 megapixel sensor alone, which is the first time for Itel anyways, but the device has a secondary camera with a large sensor that brightens pictures taken in the dark beyond expectations. This is not one of those cameras where the night mode exists only by name. Kudos to Itel on this one because it made sense. The camera has 10 times zoom strength, and honestly, at the highest zoom level, this is the clearest camera I have seen when compared with Tecno and Infinix phones at the same price range. When you zoom in, it doesn't lose image quality like the normal cameras we are used to. This is another big win for Itel. Images from both the photo and portrait modes are perfect. The colors are well fine-tuned and not overly saturated. The camera does not overly brighten or darken pictures also, so you get near natural images. I also like the blur effect of the camera as well. It is just perfect. The Itel S24's camera might not be the best camera when compared with other devices in this price range, but people like us who knows where Itel is coming from understands that Itel must have put in a lot of work to get here, and I just hope that they keep pushing. When it comes to video recording with the main camera, Itel also added a new feature here. It supports image stabilization. I guess this is the first time Itel is using this feature on their device, and frankly, they will have to work more on the image stabilization feature. From the videos I recorded, I can easily notice that images get blurry when I move the camera fast. It doesn't happen like this when the image stabilization feature is turned off. Most of this recent improvement that Itel have made doesn't come off well initially, but after a while, they get better at it. So it's just a matter of time. I'm so confident that they will get there. One thing though is that with a 108 megapixel sensor, one would expect that the camera will record 4K videos, but it doesn't. It supports 720 pixel, 1080 pixel and 2K video recording, all at 30 frames per second. What makes the most sense to me is the blur level of the camera. Imagine recording a talking head video when your background is not looking nice. This is where you will find the blur and focus of the camera useful. Itel S24 camera also supports a dual camera mode, a slow motion mode, and a time-lapse mode. Turning our attention to the front camera, the 8-megapixel sensor can switch between near and wide mode. The near and wide mode is different from the ultra-wide mode, which takes even wider pictures. The problem with the ultra-wide mode is that images are always distorted. The portrait mode of the front camera supports manual focus, so you get to decide how much blur you want in your background before taking the shot. The quality of images from the front camera is more than my expectation for the device. Ordinarily, I would have guessed that it is a 32-megapixel camera sensor that is used here. The video mode here have the same pixels and frames per second rate as the back camera. You can also manually choose focus before taking a video. So you get to choose if you want your video to have blurred background or not. I also think that the audio from a recorded video is not in bad shape. So this is the front camera of the Itel S24. I'm doing this recording to see how loud and clear the front camera is, and I did the recording before, so I'm doing this again, and I can tell you with confidence that at least the microphone does pick up what I'm saying, and it's loud, it's clear, and probably you are listening to it now, you can see how clear it is. The image too is also clear, not that sharp, maybe because I'm blowing the background in this video, specific video, but I think it's fine, it's perfect for the phone. If Itel is making a huge improvement on the S24, then we can only imagine what the S24 Pro or whatever they choose to call it will look like. My only thought is that they should keep the price down just like the S24. Okay, I've talked about most of the cool stuff of the device. One area I'm having problem with really is the display. It has a punch hole notch for the selfie camera, which is good. The bezels are manageable considering the price. MediaTek specifically stated that the Helio G91 processor can handle 1080 pixel display resolution. But what we have here is 720 pixel display resolution. At least Itel, if you want to do good, just finish the good, let us know that you've done good. The display though doesn't offer anything new. This is the base display for entry-level phones with 480 nits peak brightness, but it doesn't mean that it is bad as well. Sliding through content is smooth and it responds to touch as usual. The Itel S24 runs on Itel's themed OS, Itel version 13. Some of the new features on this version include AI-generated wallpaper. So you can think of any wallpaper, just imagine it, write it in the text box and have AI generate it for you. The device also supports Havana AI Assistant, Dynamic Bar, and Dual App. Dual App allows you to run more than 2 social accounts at the same time. Will you marry me?
Of course not. I haven't fallen in love before, but I like sincere and kind people.
Will you go on a date with me?
I'm sorry, but as an AI assistant, I don't have the capability to go on a date. However, I'm here to assist you with any mobile phone-related tasks or answer any questions you may have.
On the aspect of the battery, Itel advertised that 40 minutes of charge with the default 18-watt charger will take the 5000 mAh battery to 50%. The 50% battery charge can power gaming for 5 hours. There are other devices out there that offers way more than this, but very expensive. The battery and charging specs are not just fair but also very enticing. Now let's see how it feels like playing game on this device. The first game here is the popular eFootball 2024. In standard graphics settings, playing versus AI games is smooth and without lagging. But you might have some troubles winning player versus player match because you might experience some delay in command execution. Then I played the Asphalt 9 Legend and it worked well. With a lot of apps installed on the device, it might take a while to load games, and games might even start lagging occasionally a bit. But overall, the device will withstand these heavy games. The last on my mind on the Itel S24 is the design. This might feel a little controversial, and that's why I'm talking about it last. Last year was an era of copy and paste by Tecno, Infinix and Itel. These guys were literally copying design left, right and center. Now, the Itel S24 has the same design as the S23 from last year and the Tecno Camon 30. This keeps me wondering, have we entered another design copy and paste era? The design of the Itel S24 is awesome, no doubt about that. I've shown it to a lot of people and they love the design. But would it not have been better if Itel made a unique design specifically for their brand? At least Itel fans will have something to brag about. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This video will lead you to the review of the Itel S23, Click it now and we will meet there again.